Cory Doctorow, one of my tech heroes, one of my plane heroes. Thank you so much for having this chat.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Avi.
In this period, this election is being defined by Trump's tariff attacks and increasingly by his obvious intent to provoke a global recession. But just from the point of view of tariffs and Canada, which has dominated our political debate, dominated the election campaign, and is really on the minds of voters in Vancouver Centre like everywhere else, you had a proposal for making for a tariff attack fight back for Canada around intellectual property and how we can actually stick it to big American corporations as a country. Can you lay that out in a quick way?
Yeah, of course. So, since the Mulroney years, Canada's reoriented its economy around shipping raw materials to America and importing finished goods back. So a retaliatory tariff just makes everything that Canadians buy from America, which is like more or less everything, 25% more expensive. It's a very weird way to punish America. It's like punching yourself in the face really hard and hoping your downstairs neighbor says, ouch, right? But we have another way of striking back at them. So we have this stupid law in the books that says that it's against the law to break a digital lock on a product, even if you don't violate copyright. And so what that boils down to is if there's a digital lock that stops you from changing how a product works or fixing it, then changing how it works or fixing it becomes a crime because you have to remove the digital lock first. We've had it since 2012. We passed a right to repair law last year that says you can fix your tractor or your iPhone or whatever, but only if you don't have to break a digital lock to do it, because Bill C-11 is still in there. And so what that means is you can't use our right to repair law because there's a digital lock on everything. Yeah. And what this does is it allows large American firms to not just export products to Canada, but then to extract rent from Canadians who use them. So if you're a farmer and your tractor breaks, you're expected to fix the tractor. You put the part in, but then your tractor remains non-functional until you pay $200 for a John Deere technician to come out and type an unlock code in your tractor's keyboard. You can't install your own iPhone app store. So if you're a Canadian software author or a Canadian newspaper that collects payments through an app or a Canadian artist who makes media that you sell through an app, every dollar that a Canadian customer gives you goes on a round trip through Cupertino, California, and comes back 30 cents lighter, right? That money goes to Apple. If you own an inkjet printer, we have this highly concentrated inkjet printer market, and the printers all use digital locks to make sure you're not refilling your cartridges or replacing them with third-party cartridges. Wow, so the price of printer ink has gone up every year. It's now the most expensive liquid you can buy as a civilian without getting a permit. It's $10,000 a gallon. The colored water you use to print your grocery list costs more than the semen of a Kentucky Derby winning stallion, right? So what if we were to just take this law away? What if we were to repeal this law and allow Canadian firms and tinkerers and individuals to start businesses that attacked the highest margin items of the most profitable companies in the United States? Specifically, the highest margin lines of business of the people who sat behind Trump on the dais during the inauguration.
I'm loving this. Keep going, Cory.
What if instead of just being angry at Musk about his Nazi salute, which, like, being the kind of attention-seeking person he is, he probably quite likes, what if we just empowered every mechanic in Canada to jailbreak Teslas so that you could get all of the software upgrades, all the subscription features for one price? Canadian software authors could make their own upgrades for Teslas. And here's the best part. We could export this app store. We could export these repair tools for tractors and cars and Teslas. We could export printer ink jailbreaks to every country in the world. And Americans would buy it on the gray market too, because they don't like getting screwed by this any more than you and I do.
Talk about a tariff attack fight back. This is this is actually targeting the people standing behind Trump on the podium.
That's
and
right.
The oligarchs, running our digital world these days.
So turning their billions into our millions, right, while saving Canadians the difference.
Love it.
That is a pretty good deal.
I just love it.
For 25 years, every important social justice issue that I have campaigned on came up against the hard limit that if we do that, America will stop having free trade with us. Right? This is the moment for the crisis not to go to waste. This is the moment where, if Steve Bannon can call himself a right-wing Leninist, this is the moment for us to be left-wing Friedmanites, right? to not lose this chance. I'm no big fan of Milton Friedman, who is the economist who oversaw Reaganomics. But he had a weird thing he used to say to people when they asked him, how is it that you're going to get your extreme ideas through the American people and roll back the New Deal and roll back post-war prosperity and turn us into forelock-tugging plebs who know our place. And he would say, in times of crisis, ideas move from the periphery to the center. Our job is to keep ideas lying around and not let a crisis go to waste. And when the oil crisis hit, he changed the world. So he had bad ideas, but he had a theory of change that can't be argued with. Well, we don't have an oil crisis, but we have Trump. Yeah. And the NDP are the ones who've had the ideas lying around.
Absolutely.
For 25 years. It is time for those ideas to move from the periphery to the center. As to an endorsement, of course you have my endorsement. I am very pleased to wholeheartedly endorse you. Now, don't disappoint me.
No, I won't. Well, we're trying to run something a little different, which is a campaign that's honest about the fact that getting one schmuck to Ottawa to be 1 out of 343 is not going to change the world.
Sure.
But building community power and building relationships of accountability at the grassroots. This is why we've knocked on more than 35,000 doors now, is we're actually building community power. And we think that's got to be the foundation on which representative democracy works.
People who support you will get you through times where you have no money, much better than money will get you through times where no one supports you. And, this is the lesson that the NDP has to internalize and metabolize if it's going to govern or if it's going to hold the balance of power. Yeah. It has to stick to its principles, because the only future the NDP has runs through being a party that is an honest broker to the supporters who supported it through the long years where it was a third party.
Yeah. Words to live by. Cory, thank you so much.